Similarly, imagine this is the mind of God. Call it the cosmic mind. Even in Sanskrit, there's a word for it, the Mahat, the great mind, dreaming up all these dream characters and playing them. And the characters think that they're all separate, running around in the dream. How amazing. What an amazing dream. How does that happen? And then there are some people, this is like an example as the Buddha, who starts to really think like this. All these people are suffering, going through pain, disease, dying. The Buddha simply said, that's not for me. I don't want to die. That's all he said. And then he left everything. One night, he just renounced everything and he went out into the wilderness and found, different spiritual teachers and studied with them and asking them, what's the where's the true reality? Who am I? I want to find myself. I don't want to continue on with this state of suffering. This life is very hard. I don't want to end up like all those people, getting old, diseased, and dying. Buddha was very smart. Who thinks that way? Does anyone? Sometimes I still wonder that myself. Why doesn't anyone really take the Buddha's contemplation seriously and say, okay, I'm ready to break out of the stream. I've been playing long enough. And then, the story goes, some people know it. He sits underneath this is in India, he sits underneath the Bodhi tree and says, I'm not going to move from this tree until the truth dawns upon me. Even if the body dies, I'm going to sit here. And so, when you sit and try to meditate, what happens? All the demons come at you. You want to fidget, scratch yourself, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I need this, I need all the stuff. I need to check my iPhone. He didn't have an iPhone back then, but all the distractions come at him, one after the other. And he simply says, I'm unmoving. This is not real. This is all the dream. And then for 48 days, he sat. Can you believe it? Who does that? Have any of your friends done that? And then on the 48th day, his mind stopped. And he went into what's called nirvana, a cessation of all thought, and what's called when the individual soul merges with the Supreme Soul. Complete freedom. Done. The whole game is up. And it's said that all the gods, the devas and the devatas, the angels in heaven, showered flowers upon earth. Because finally, someone found the source, returned home. Finally. So rare. But he had a desperation. It's incredible what he did. Interesting story, like kind of a side thing. But when he achieved that enlightened state, he went back home to his wife and child, and they became his disciples. Interesting. So even though he renounced them, he came back and he actually apologized to his wife. It's very sweet, actually, that he did that. And he said to his wife, he just looked at her and he said, I'm sorry, but when I was in the palace, I just couldn't sleep. I couldn't live with myself. I had to leave to find my truth, myself. I couldn't do it. In the palace, I just couldn't. Surrounded by luxury, I had to leave. I'm sorry. And then they followed him. Amazing. They said, oh, we're going to be your disciple. Unbelievable, right? And of course, millions of people then started following him and just sitting in his presence because the peace, love, and compassion just dripping from him.